Hey guys, I'm gonna give you a few tips for fishing in the wintertime. That's if I had to pick one time of year to fish, it would be in the wintertime. It's just there's less boats. I think the fish per bite are bigger, and for one, it kind of just fits the way I like to fish. Get out in the middle. You can do a lot of different things, I should say. So the lake fish is super big. The number one tip for fishing in the wintertime is you can't fish if you can't stay out there. I fish a lot when it's in the 20s. Where I live, a lot of these mornings it'll be 20s, and in the afternoons it'll be in the 40s, and that can get chilly when you're on a boat moving around, 8 to 10 hours. So you got to be able to stay out there. I wear gloves some days when I'm fishing when it's down there in the 20s. These are just, the thin APPAREL gloves. They go on, I can fish with them. Now, if I have my choice, I won't wear them because I want to feel the rod and the reel, but there's days it's cold and I have to wear them. But I can fish in them, pretty easy. I can slide my big APPAREL glove over it, drive, pull the big glove off, I'm good. Sock hat, I'll take a thermos of coffee, just all that kind of stuff. The things to stay warm, and obviously good clothing will help that. And I've learned over the years that a rain suit helps a bunch. You kind of mid-layer, base layer, mid-layer, and then a rain suit keeps the wind off of you, keep you cool. Now, as far as the fishing part, wintertime to me is a lot like the summertime fishing. I think that 10% to 20%, 10 to 20% of the fish are going to live up there shallow. They live there year round. And 80% is out there, 10 foot or deeper. The problem is, and you guys will probably say, well, if 80% of the fish are out deep, why not fish out there? I do believe that percentage that's on the bank are a lot of your bigger fish, your 5, 6, 7 pounders. Because I've caught a lot of big ones up there shallow. But it's a lot like summertime in that you have very few fish, a small percentage that live on the bank, and a lot of them live out there. So there's kind of three things. You got the bank ones, and then you have the fish that live on structure in the wintertime, and then you have the fish that live on bait, which means all they do is really just swim around and just kind of follow the bait wherever they're going. So, and those are the three things, that I use as far, bank fishing, crankbait, jig, that kind of stuff, sonar minnow out under deep bait, and then structure just depends on, whatever structure's there. So we're gonna jump on the Garmin here, and I'm gonna show you kind of some of the areas and stuff that I would look for in the wintertime. So in the wintertime, one thing I always try to remember is deep water. And when I say deep water, I don't mean 50, 60, 80. I just mean access to deep water. So, right here, this is just a long creek arm. You can see there. Well, on this side, you can see the channel. Okay, that's deep water. Now, also, even though all of this over here is shallow, flat, you have this deep water out here. So it's all deep water access. So what I would do in the wintertime is I would fish areas that, obviously has access to where they can move. What happens is, right here is a perfect example. You have a channel. This is kind of a channel swing there. You can see it comes on this side and it goes over to that side. This area right here where it's deep and then it turns, this transition area, that would be an area that I would look for. And the reason being is because I could pull up here and start fishing. I could fish 200 yards of channel or 100 yards of channel and then fish this flat. And that's going to tell me once I start getting bites where these fish, what they're doing. And also it's not what I catch, it's what I see, on live scope. If I'm seeing a ton of fish out here in deep water and I get up here on this flat and I'm not seeing any, I know that the next stop I make, I probably need to stay, you know, really start looking at deep water, and vice versa. You know, if I'm up here on this flat and start getting bites, then maybe these fish are shallow. What happens in the wintertime is you get really, really cold days and you get warm days, you get these fronts coming in and out. These areas like this, these fish will hop up on this flat on these nice days, and you know, you get a real hard front and it cools off, they'll back out in this channel. So these transition areas are key. You know, one thing that you're probably not going to see me do in the wintertime, when I say wintertime, I mean water temperature 42 to 48, 49. You're not going to see me get back in here, you know, on this 5-foot stuff where deep water excess is a half mile to a mile. I mean, am I saying that you can't catch one? Absolutely not. You can catch some of the bigger fish I catch in the wintertime are on shallow areas. The problem is you'll fish an area like this, a big area, and you'll catch one or two. Of course, they'll be big ones, just enough to keep you up there shallow, but it's all about deep water access. You know, and you get out here to the main lake, it makes it a little bit harder because it's such a big area, but it's all the same. You know, river channel, and then it swings off into these flats. So I like the transition. They'll kind of tell you where they're at between live scope and getting bites. So, and as far as structure, you know, getting out here on some of these structure stuff, a lot of the structure places you fish are off of these flats, but still yet have access to deep water. Just remember in the wintertime, the tighter the contour, the more likely you probably are of being around some fish.